Throw it out.
All right, I'm gonna call the regular meeting to order at, what time is it?
7:14.
At 7:14.
14.
Dorothy Neptune will lead us in the pledge.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, item 3.
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the minutes of the regular meeting of November 8th, 2023. Each member received a copy for review.
Second the motion?
All right, do we have any questions or discussion on item 3? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the monthly reports of November. Each member received copies for review.
Second the motion?
Questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so I'm not gonna make any opening comments tonight. We've got a lot of work to do, so we'll get right to it. And we have some interesting topics tonight, so it should be fun. So, having said that, we will go to public comment, which can be from anyone in the room or anyone on Zoom. So first call for public comment. All right. Second call for public comment. Last call for public comment. Hearing none, we will go to a report from NAC from Kyle Kelly.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. How are you tonight? Happy holidays. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I sent my report out. Well, actually, Janice helped forward it out to me. I hope everybody got a copy of it. Just to highlight a few things, we continue to stay very active. Last month, we went out of town 44 times for mutual aid calls. This includes full ambulance requests, as well as our paramedic. We're almost always over that 400 call mark. We've been very busy assisting some of our partners with our staffing that we do in Bethany and in Seymour. There has been a little bit of an uptick in that. The Greyhawk revenue, for those of you that don't know, Greyhawk revenue was a joint venture that we started between Naugatuck Ambulance and Beacon Hose EMS out of Beacon Falls. Big reason to hopefully and undoubtedly cut down costs and what we spend for the current third party that does our billing. Bringing it in-house will lower the cost that we have, and in turn we will look to gather some more clients down the road and be a little bit more profitable to help save both Beacon Hose and Naugatuck Ambulance money on the back end. Real quick, just something else that we're looking at doing. The area as a whole, the industry as a whole has been struggling. We fortunately are doing very well with our staff. We have amazing providers. With the support from the borough and our board of directors, we're doing very well. So we're looking at options and ways to increase our coverage and the coverage to our surrounding communities. So we're looking at ways to increase a whole ambulance and as well as increased paramedic coverage to the region. So those are some updates that we're working on. I look forward to meeting all of the new Burgesses. Please feel free to reach out, give me a call, shoot me an email, give me a text. I'd love to have you come down and see what we've done with the place.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Does anyone have a question for Kyle? Okay, we will move to item A. So by way of background, as we all know, we last week had a presentation and we hired Kleinfelder and Richter and Siegen to work on the final designs for our downtown renovation project that has, you know, as we all know, quite a few artistic, aesthetic aspects to it. And in that regard, we also know that we have some walls along the train tracks that are unsightly and will be really unsightly when they're next to our newly renovated areas. So we've been working and talking to our Arts Commission to come up with a solution along the lines of the mural project. And we have some of our members from the Arts Commission here tonight. I see Tony Jones, Francis. So let's come forward, however you want to do it. And I think the best thing to do is for you to tell us where you started, what you did, and what you think we should do.
We have a PowerPoint to kind of
Very
walk
good, so
through.
introduce yourselves.
Okay, I'm Anthony Jones,
Francis Santana, 1 New Street.
and then we have Gary Spring with us as well, from the committee.
Okay,
Okay, so we're here tonight to talk about what we're calling, at the Arts Committee, we're calling the Arts Commission, we're calling the mural project. The Arts Committee, has been working on this since April, in communication with the mayor's office. We can go to the next slide. So what we're after is bringing public art to Naugatuck, to our town through a mural project. A mural would create a sense of vibrancy and pride in the community. It would introduce art into like everyday life. It would make a statement that art, creativity are valued here. And it would help develop, a brand for Naugatuck, kind of develop this sense of who we are and kind of this sense of vibrancy and things are happening here. In this regard, what we did is we identified an organization called Rise Up for Arts. And I believe Katyana Jarbar Smith is participating via Zoom tonight. She's with this organization. Rise Up for Arts was formed in 2012. Their whole raison d'etre is to fund and implement and create public art projects throughout Connecticut. Here's a little map of projects they've done throughout the state. We'll go to the next slide. We as a group, went around the town. We're kind of thinking where can we make an impact with some art, with a mural. And I think consensus, both from the mayor's office and internally, looking around different spots, was that this site here down at the intersection of Maple and Water Streets was really kind of the ideal spot. We have this great blank canvas to work with. And it's also a spot that kind of calls for some action. It's a great spot because it's in many ways like the entry point to town. It's one of the main entrances into the town, and it can kind of send a message of welcome and kind of make a statement about who we are as a community. So I think there's a pretty broad-based consensus that this would be probably the ideal spot to do this. So after making contact with Rise Up, seeing, I guess maybe backtracking a second to talk about Rise Up, what working with Rise Up would allow us to do is they have the expertise and experience in executing projects like this. They have access to artists who they can bring to these projects. They have the bandwidth to manage this process and get it done in a timely, efficient manner and do it successfully. So if we take this site as the proposed site, the next step was thinking about which artists, we wanted to work with through this organization. If we go to the next slide, we identified 2 main artists so far that we think that I think are very high quality, that have significant experience in doing projects like this. The first one's an artist called RC. And just the next couple slides here, this is a kind of an interesting project here. This was actually done on top of a a building. This is a rooftop that's seen from above. That was, and then here's a project he did in Dubuque, Iowa. And then we have one more slide for this artist. The other artist we identified on the slide is a woman named Sophie Gronstein. She's also done a number of high quality products, projects like this. Here we see like a pretty tall side of the building, like pretty impressive work here. And then I think we have one more slide of hers. Yeah. Anyway, so we can access some high quality artists through this organization. I think we have a good site to do this. At this point, let's jump in. So after kind of identifying how we could do this, maybe who we might be able to use to do this, we thought about what these themes might be for developing this mural. Part of the process as we go forward would be a collaborative process of trying to, settle on an image, set of images that we think reflects, our core values, but is also kind of impactful and exciting. But just as kind of a starting point, there's this concept, because of the location of this sort of welcome to Naugatuck message. There's this notion of, Naugatuck being covered in some ways by the river that runs right next to it. And then there's just maybe this sense of progress and growth, this kind of the evolution of the town from the industrial days to where we're going in the future. So taking some of those ideas, working with these artists to develop some images that could work in this space is kind of where we're at. And if we move forward with this at this point. We've identified a preliminary budget through Rise Up. They work, they've kind of hashed this out, and the budget comes down to $25 a square foot. That covers, cost of paint, the cost of them managing the project, the cost of paying the artist to do the work. And then there's an upfront fee of $1,500 for them to do some initial site work and analysis. So we're looking at a project budget of somewhere in the neighborhood of $28,500, of which approximately $1,500 would be paid up front just to get the ball rolling. The first thing that they would do is they would submit to, because the property is actually state-owned property.
Correct.
And so they would file, they would work with the mayor's office, or however the process evolves, to submit an encroachment application to the Department of Transportation. The encroachment application would start the ball rolling with the Department of Transportation, who would then come back and say whether or not they have any plans with regard to that site, or if they're aware of any structural condition issues that might affect this project. Ideally, they come back and we can get green light and move forward with this. Or if challenges arise, if there needs to be some improvement to those walls or some removal of, materials, we kind of have to go through that process to determine. But if it was smooth sailing, we'd be looking at a budget of about $28,500, but there is potential, depending on the condition of that site and any future plans that DOT may have, could change. But that's where we are, and we're hoping that the board would kind of approve us moving forward with Rise Up and working with the mayor's office. Part of this process would be, as I said, a collaborative process. We would expect that there might be some input from one or more of the Burgesses to kind of give your input into the design as it's moved forward. Obviously, we don't want to create an image or anything that's divisive in any way. We want to kind of create something that's exciting and it like feels like it's enlivening the community. But this is kind of, I think, a first big project in town. And our focus internally is we want to win. We want something that goes up, we get it up, in these terms relatively quickly. We want to get it up, have it look good, have everyone be happy with it. And then maybe use that as a springboard for introducing other kind of art projects into the community as well. And I don't know, you have anything else you wanted to add, Brendan, or?
I think we have some
Do
questions.
you have any
Well, I'm gonna
questions?
say one thing first, so, and then so the funding for this would come from, our tax incremental plans. In other words, it would in essence become part of the project that we just went out to design last week. And this would be, I'll say an add-on to that project. Well, go ahead, Megan.
First of all, I love it. I love the ideas and the 3 different options there were. But my question is, if there was like damage to the painting, like after it was done, are we then responsible, or would this artist come back out and potentially touch it up, fix it, if things were either graffitied or peeled off, or like upkeep, basically? How would that work?
Well, Tatiana is on, I don't know if she can, if we can give her the mic to talk. Tatiana, can you hear us?
You just need to unmute. She's muted.
Tatiana, if you can hear us, and can you unmute yourself?
Tony, did you say there's a protective coating I put over it?
I think it's the type of paint that they use. They said they typically don't need to retouch these projects, but I just want confirmation that if there is any.
Yeah, I'm more
repairs
worried about
later,
like potential damage
yeah,
from.
like vandalism or something.
Yeah.
Correct, versus like it peeling or anything like that.
Right. If you look at that wall too, there's been instances where cars have backed into the wall. There are chunks of the wall missing
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah. So,
I was
Just
gonna ask
incorporate
that
a
too.
bumper.
yeah.
Bender done that.
Oh, there she, it looks like she's struggling.
Is she on?
She is.
Hello, hi. Good
Hey.
evening. I'm sorry, guys. I've been under the weather. So that's part why I wasn't able to make it in person tonight. So sorry. All right, you guys have some concerns. Well, typically with the murals, they are sealed so that it can last a certain number of years. We always put on some type of graffiti sealant on top. So at least there is a layer of protection. It doesn't absolve the wall from being damaged by graffiti, but it makes cleaning graffiti off and still preserving the actual artwork underneath an easier process. So if there was to be damage, it would have to be cleaned up. I can't say verbatim without getting approval from Matt, who is the executive director of Rise Up, if that will be an additional cost if we were to have to clean it up. I actually don't know. Matt was not able to join us this evening because he just welcomed a brand new baby yesterday. And he's dealing with some NICU issues. So he wasn't able to come. So in his absence, I will do my best to answer all of your questions.
That was great, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, I guess my takeaway is that there would be this protective code that would at least make it easier to deal with if that happened.
Right.
I would be surprised if that would be part of their commitment to do follow-up restoration, but.
There a maintenance type program, to continue that coating over the mural over years?
Usually the coating is going to last indefinitely. It's made for outdoor weather. So we wouldn't have to worry about it. It would just be the same pretty much procedure that you'd have when something else gets damaged with graffiti. You'd be able to try to pressure wash it off, but maybe we can contract with the artist for a different fee to have them come in and do any necessary touch-ups if the layer of graffiti does not come off. But the actual mural will be preserved because there will be several layers of sealant placed in between whatever damage happens on top. And typically a lot of times when artwork is put up, public art, 9 times out of 10, it really does reduce the amount of graffiti that will take place. A lot of times, even graffiti artists will see a work of art and they wouldn't want to add a tag per se to that piece of art. They'll find another blank area to do it in.
Yeah, just a thought, I know nothing about this kind of stuff, but that wall, I wouldn't trust all the time because you don't know if there's gonna be any, efflorescence or spalling. The state says we're not gonna do anything over there and changes their mind next year. I'm just wondering if it might be a better idea to either do this on, for lack of a better word, a tarp that can be wrapped around the wall, or else plywood that can be attached to the wall or attached to posts against the wall. And if you did it that way, it would be almost portable. So if you needed to bring it somewhere for a show, you might be able to take it off and, bring it to the high school if they're having this gigantic art show or something. But, then it would at least be, it would be right against the wall and it's there and you have to worry about things. Just a thought.
Have
Yes.
you,
I understand that, but I know, we use something called Dibon, but because it's a it's DOT's property, 9 times out of 10, they won't approve any type of fixtures to be affixed onto those types of properties at all. We've never been able to secure permission for that to take place. But
Wow.
we could all, pitch it in the encroachment application, but there's no guarantee that they'll actually say yes. We've always gotten the no to add something onto it.
Thank you.
Kim?
Is there a way that we could get local citizens involved in this project? The artist would be in charge, but I would love to see art students from our high school have a chance to do, a small internship or volunteer as part of it. And then when you start looking at graffiti, the more citizens you get involved in the project, the more ownership you have of the project. Plus, that's a theme that we're trying to do with preferred workers from our town. So I would like to see that be a part of the agreement. I know it's not ideal for the artist, you'd rather do it yourself, but
They actually, Tatiana can talk on that, because they actually have that as an option.
good.
So part of something we offer is some of our artists are trained in working with polytab. So that means people can actually go on site or on another site and actually contribute to and paint on this substrate that can then be affixed professionally by the artist onto the walls. So after the artist comes up with the design and all, we can have like some kind of community paint day or bring it to a group of high schoolers and have some kind of community paint days that's just for, I guess, art students. And we can paint it on site at their school or, out in the open nearby where the installation will happen. And that could be part of the process. But it will be led by the professional artists for sure to make sure, all components are done a certain way. But yes, we definitely have community art. And we've had a lot of community members from young kids to adults contribute to murals.
Awesome, that's great.
Don't forget, we have lots of little walls we can tackle after this one, so.
So is your process like pre-painting it on a canvas type and then applying it to the wall, such as like doing it like wallpaper or something?
No, not necessarily. It wouldn't go in large chunks like wallpaper would. It would go in different portions. So let's say if we had like different figures of people or maybe animals, we'd actually have, one large cutout or section painted of just the animal that could then be affixed to the wall. But we don't actually wallpaper the whole thing because it could, get peeled off easily. So how we incorporate public art so they don't have to actually come out to the site, because it could be a 6-story building, is we go into, somewhere outdoors, somewhere indoors, and, lay everything down on tables and everyone can actually just paint together under some instruction and then let it all dry. And then the artist takes over from there and we affix it to the wall.
but like Katana, in this case, I think we're saying we probably won't be able to fix anything at this site,
Yeah.
correct?
All of
Right.
that would have to be, so if we'll be using the polytab method, all of that would have to be included in the DOT's permission for us using the wall and painting on it. So painting on it is one thing, but affixing the polytab and all that would have to be disclosed as well. So we make sure that they're okay with it. The polytab can last and be affixed to something forever, but it is essentially like wallpaper in a sense.
But so if we don't do polytab, is there still an option for having, say, high school students participate in the on-site painting of the project, maybe certain portions?
We've had that before. That we'd have to work with the artist that ends up getting chosen for the project. And that would have to be incorporated into the design as well.
You show a full scale layout of how it's gonna look by a picture, taking up a particular site. And then you would show a rendering of how it would perceive to look or conceptual.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. We'll have an actual mock-up design that gets projected on the actual wall, so you guys can actually see what it'll look like in real life once it's completed.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now, you've actually answered a question I had, with your experience with Department of Transportation. Obviously, you've had some experience. Could you tell us, about how much experience you've had dealing with them and what your results normally are?
With DOT, I know Matt has worked with DOT. I haven't personally gone through the process, but Matt has worked with DOT over the years because the organization started in 2012. So he is very aware of he's very familiar with working with DOT and processing the encroachment application and, getting the feedback from them on whether or not, it's a go to go ahead and install art on the walls. But they're going to have the final say more so, like as far as if the wall has any kind of plans for any modifications or updates that are going to be happening in the immediate time, in the immediate couple of years. So that could impact whether or not we can install the mural if we're looking to do this hopefully by next year.
Well, it's good to know that you have had experience, at least your organization has, because I know that we've had experience with DOT also, but we'll leave it at that. Yeah.
We had the best meeting we ever had with DOT today, and they're working full speed ahead on our project. They've expedited their schedule, and we have the full support of the commissioner, the governor, and I know that as long as it can be done, it'll happen. But I like the fact of you working on it and expediting it. And I also want to say that we, as a group, have to make sure the trestle, which isn't really part of this project, has to be finished around the same time with signage or something, because it's gonna be beautiful and the trestle is horrific.
It's not.
And we have to get that done simultaneously.
In the past, there's even been an issue with us offering to paint it because they didn't want the metal
There's
covered up.
a history.
Yeah.
because there's a trestle there, was Metro North involved with this project too?
Yeah, but so Metro North and DOT are together. DOT owns it and Metro North runs it, basically.
Now, you guys are aware of the timeline here. There's a massive amount of work that's gonna be going on downtown in the next year. So this project, I would foresee maybe not starting the painting portion of it until everything else is done down there. Even like the design portion, to make sure there's a continuity between the renovations that are gonna be occurring on Maple Street and the artwork we're gonna put at the major entry point. Even for the artist purposes, they may wanna see what does, not just my canvas look like, but what does my frame look like?
So Charlie, to supplement your point, I foresee, I'll say 3 Burgesses working with the Arts Commission and Richter and Segan, our landscape architect. And I know that, Tony, you spoke with them. And when we met with them, they're very receptive to working with you.
Yeah.
But to Charlie's point, there will be timing issues and there's gonna be a lot going on there, but that will definitely have to be factored into the plan.
I think since Charles is very artistic.
I'm a horrible visual artist. That's my daughter's realm.
He would
I'm a
be a
musician.
great addition. And I will also offer that myself, who has no artistic talent whatsoever for the visual musical or anything, it'd be good to get that perspective. But I'd be happy to work with Charles.
I would too, yeah, definitely.
So we could have more
Artistic
than three.
ability.
We could have,
Yeah,
we can have, I'm gonna say for
love to, yeah.
almost anyone who wants to. But I think that the most important part is gonna be picking the final, the artist and the final version.
Yeah.
And it would be nice if we had a consensus.
Well, yeah, I agree. I think we all feel the same way. I think the big challenge is gonna be just, let's secure the site, make sure the site works for us. Let's have this organization on board, getting this project moving. And once we can sit around a table and throw ideas around about what the picture is gonna look like, that's gonna be the easy part.
I would say this, tonight, are we all in agreement that this budget, say 30,000 plus or minus, is a good target budget? Is there anyone who disagrees with that?
I thought it was great. I was expecting a lot more, truthfully, so I thought that was great.
Good budget.
Don't show your hands so early.
No, I'm just joking, but let's just say, we have a green light to go further. I would like you to work with some of our Burgesses and, let's, select the artist and we'll, at our next meeting, we'll have an agreement, in final form set to sign.
Okay.
And we'll, proceed with our landscape architect, the Arts Commission, the Burgesses, maybe other citizens, other groups. We'll make it a real community project and, come up with a great product.
Just one question. As we get this going, you sign the contract, some entity, I believe the mayor's office would sign the encroachment application for submission to DOT, or
I would think that, I mean, the Arts Commission has no money, so someone's gonna want the town to agree, so I mean, if the town has to sign it, we'll sign it, I mean, it's not a problem.
Very good.
For procedural points too, the request for proposal from artists. Are they gonna wanna know our theme before they put the proposals in? So that's something that have to be met on and decided beforehand as to exactly what do you want them to paint? So when they put the proposals together, should there be a conceptual agreement before we start taking in requests? I'm not sure how the process of this particular art group works or.
Yeah, but Tatiana, maybe you can speak to that.
Yes, so the Arts Commission, Anthony and those present actually chose or hammered down to 2 artists to choose from. So the process is going to be to pay them a certain deposit, and between the 2 of them, they're going to each come up with a design or mock-up, and that in turn will be voted on. So we know which artist is going to proceed with the actual installation of the artwork.
But before they start designing, we need, I think, get clarity on what themes we want them to work on. Would there be an opportunity to have some dialogue with the artists and kind of maybe get their thoughts, help guide that discussion and our thoughts as they were trying to put together some ideas?
Yes, definitely. We can set up a meeting. We can bring in both the artists. They're actually on standby, waiting to hear. I know we wanted to make sure we had this meeting first, but they're on standby and they're available to meet. So I can set up a meeting so everyone can, have a discussion. And Anthony, if you'd like, to add anyone to the committee, that would be great.
I mean, I would think we probably want to have a preliminary meeting, just kind of distill our thoughts first, so as to be as efficient as possible. But then once we distill our thoughts down to some, manageable set of ideas, then we could have a meeting with the artists and kind of develop those a little bit.
Have we thought about what the theme is gonna be? I mean, I'm thinking that, and this is just me, is that we should probably show the historical nature from start to now
I like
of what Naugatuck is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was in the presentation Anthony shared earlier with some of the concepts.
Yep.
You look at other communities, they've kind of started
Like the
their
evolution of
murals
town.
similar to that, Philadelphia, and I think a couple of other locations.
Yeah, it's, I think the concept like a talking wall that shares the history of the community, especially when downtown is going to be so different from what it was when the community first began. That it would be nice to have a artistic homage to the past, but at the same time, connecting to what is the present and future.
Mhm.
And to see that concept, and also I throw out there, obviously, when I talk about our industrial heritage, well, let's not forget our Native American heritage as well. They were here first.
Mm.
There needs to be some kind of, I believe, connection with that as we go
Yeah.
forward too.
Yeah. Well, you
I like
have,
all three concepts they had, there was a way to combine them all.
yeah,
I know.
You know,
Well, you
one
have-
was
Got a lot of wall
the
there.
river, the salmon, and the progress.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you have the two walls, you can almost do something with Dogtuck then, Dogtuck now, type of.
I'm envisioning the salmon one in the underpass, near Linden, that the next phase, the next. phase.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right, so I think, we should set up before the next borough board meeting, your group and a few Burgesses should get together informally and, just keep talking about progress, next steps. And then next month, I'm gonna put this on the agenda. We have a form agreement that is suggested, and we'll look at it, we'll modify it, and we'll make it fit. And we'll, at least from a financial standpoint, we'll give them the green light. And as a group, you'll have to figure out the theme and what it's gonna look like. And we'll time it with our construction project. And we'll be full speed ahead.
Okay, what is the best way for us to sync up, plan a meeting?
So which Burgesses wanna be involved? Or four ladies? Okay. So that's fine.
I'll liaison to the guys, I'll let you guys choose.
So we have
I do stick people.
Kim, Julie, Megan, and Dorothy will join the Arts Commission to work together to come up with a theme and a plan.
Our next
Okay.
meeting is gonna be January 16th, so let's try and do something before your next week. When is the next?
The first
First Tuesday.
Tuesday of January.
So we should try and do something before that.
Yeah.
January 2nd?
Will it be January 2nd?
January 2nd.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what you want over this?
So, probably something
I'm tired.
something in the next week or two.
We need somebody to draw this portion and six people.
Why don't we, why don't y'all write your emails down right now?
I can get them, I wrote the names down, so I'll get the emails.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And then Francis, send out a common email and then together you can figure it out. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, jugglers. No, clowns and jugglers. Creeps people out, man.
Yeah, it does.
We get Ron Johnson out there, our soon to be in the Clown Hall of Fame someday.
All right, okay, report by Burgess Gallo and Burgess Rosenblatt on our trade school program. So, Julie?
All right, yeah, Kim and I have been involved with the It's Building Trades Training Institute. I have a lot of papers here that I can give everyone that explains the program. What they do is they did an information session that I went to on Friday. John Harris targeted students, probably through an interest survey, I'm not really sure how he did it, but who are interested in the different trades. There's a ton of trades that they're involved in, welding, all sorts of construction, plumbing, electricians, it goes on and on. And these high school seniors expressed an interest in the trades. So I tested, you have to test them to get into the program. And it's through the same testing that we do at adult ed, so I was able to do that. I administered the test. They did fairly well. I mean, you're always gonna get a few jokers that just want to fill in everything and get done with it. But, there was 12 that were interested, 10 came to the information session, plus a couple of more. I think we'll probably even have more than that. The information session, Yolanda Rivera, who came to that meeting that we were at, is in charge of the training. So she talked to them, she did a PowerPoint, it was a great session. I don't want to take too much time here, but, it seemed like the students were really interested. They did a survey that, I showed Kim the survey. They did a great survey on what they would be interested in and trying to target exactly, the program that they want to be involved in. It's a go-ahead right now. The class starts, January 22nd. The students will be in class from 12:30 to 2:30. It's called an MC3 training, and it's a multi-craft course. I mean, you can look at this later, but it goes into all the different areas that they're gonna cover in this class. John Harris is working on trying to get them a half a credit in math, so that they will get some credit too for being a part of this. So they'll go from 12:30 to 2:30, 120 hours.
Yeah.
I believe, okay.
120 hours, yeah.
When they complete that, they automatically get $200 just for taking that course. So they have an incentive there right away that they're getting money. Upon their high school completion, then they can possibly go into apprenticeship program where they will get $500 to start. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kim.
That's the next phase of their training,
Right.
is they would get $500, and if they get into the apprenticeship after that, now they're getting a pay.
Yeah.
Depending on which industry they're in and so forth.
So does this give them like a credit towards, almost like AP exam, like AP tests?
Yeah.
So it's similar, but
Yeah.
for trades, so they
Yeah,
get a credit
from the outside, yes.
Right.
They
Got
will,
it.
they'll get half a credit, and the administration was very open to that.
Mhm.
What I'm most pleased about is that the level of interest that
Oh,
we saw in the students. Because it's one thing to take an interest inventory, it's one thing to say you like to work with your hands, but these kids were very interested in what they were doing. Without violating any privacy, kids told stories about why they were there. And they were personal stories from their heart about why they wanted to get involved in that, connected to family members, connected to interests and so forth.
Yeah, we have one
so-
female as part of it too,
Oh,
which
nice.
is great. Yeah, yeah.
So I think what we need to hear as Burgesses, because we don't always hear good things about the schools, is that this wasn't just, let's put these kids in this class. This is a personal relationship that some adult is having with these kids, and they know who belongs in that class.
Yeah.
And they
all
got it
seniors?
right. Pardon me?
Are they all seniors?
Yeah, that's one of the
Yes.
requirements of
So
the
they're all
grant.
seniors.
There's one junior.
There was one junior that was interested, he wasn't there,
Right,
I think we'll probably have 12 to 15.
right.
Is,
right.
is a target group, there
And
was
is
a
this
couple,
like an
one,
elective credit type of thing? How does that
Well,
work?
it'll be a
with
math
their-
credit.
So it'll be a
Yeah.
math
Yeah.
credit, so.
yeah.
okay.
Half of
And
the
they'll,
math credit.
they'll arrange your schedules so that they'll be able to do that 2 hours in the afternoon.
And it's every day, the 2 hours? Okay. And
And this will last until, well, the 120, I think it's until April.
April.
Yeah, and then
Maybe
April,
May.
they bring in people and do like a hands-on demonstration.
like almost like.
It's a great group.
Right.
Yeah,
And what about you may have already answered this when we first started talking about it, the funding, is it state?
completely funded by this
Completed
organization.
by the trade unions.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, what's happening, the trade unions are having a tough time getting kids into those
Gotcha.
jobs. They don't
need
know
people to
about
get into
them.
the union
Right.
so they can pay the dues.
Yeah.
There you go.
And what they'll do is they'll help with the dues, they'll help them with their
Mhm.
driver's license, they'll help financially to all of them.
That's not a bad deal.
So and they're teaching this course, so it's nothing we
Right.
have to put into
Right,
it,
okay.
other than,
Time.
I told Yolanda, I just wanna have some, not oversee it, but I wanna be a part of
Just
it.
kind of give
And
them
this is taught
options.
in the
Yeah.
high school, so
In the
the
high school.
instructor will come to us.
That's right.
And then when the hands-on part happens, they go off-site or?
That'll be up to that's up to the trade unions, and I'm sure that there's an assessment of what they have out there.
I was thinking
OSHA
busing wise,
rules.
if it's offsite,
Yeah.
If it's offsite, they'll provide it.
okay.
Yeah, they have funding.
They
They're very
automatically,
motivated to do this.
and they automatically with this, 12:30 to 2, they'll get OSHA certified too.
Oh,
Right.
good, that's good.
Yeah,
Right.
which is, you know, I mean, that's a major thing too, to be able to work at any place, you know.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
There's information here, and you each can take one. I'll leave them here for later, but I got enough for everybody to
Great, thanks.
grab one. But the information session Friday was amazing. It was, you know, just well done, well organized.
The end result, somewhere down the line, is we'll be getting an education.
Yeah.
We'll be getting a trade
Right.
without the student loans.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
Well,
they'll
that's
work
what
here in
she,
town.
that's what she pointed out on
Yeah.
Friday. I
That's
mean,
exactly right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's huge. It's
Yeah.
huge.
And she went through every trade and what's required for the apprenticeships. Some are 2 years, some are 3 years, some are, you know, if you're afraid of heights, you can't do this
The
job,
alternative.
you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was well done, and well organized. She was good with the students too, because we did have a couple
Right.
that, you know, one kid's like kept sleeping or, you know, and she was fine. I mean, she comes from a
Yep.
social service background and
Right.
can deal with these kids, you know, so that's good. Yeah,
You know, when you consider a lot of these kids, they're not in high school, they're seniors.
Yeah.
They made a decision in eighth grade not to go to a trade school for whatever the reason. This is a wonderful second chance for them
Oh,
to
yeah.
move towards something.
That's not it.
It's not the college bound track that we unfortunately assume that every child should be going into. This gives them a shot.
Why we assume.
Yeah.
We have a talent deficit in our trades, this addresses the talent deficit, local talent.
Yeah.
And when you hear about these kind of kids that know that college isn't their thing, I think they deserve the same opportunity. And this is a wonderful opportunity you guys have helped work with our unions and our high school to make happen, and I appreciate this wonderful, ladies.
yeah.
Great.
It keeps our like local kids from, and locally too, you know, there is the Emmett. and
Well, we're
Peters,
saying hopefully.
But it keeps them, it keeps them here, where some of them may have wanted to go to those schools and couldn't because of.
Well, they just don't wanna leave their friends.
Right.
I mean, not every kid has the chutzpah to go someplace else and
Yeah, where they know
leave
no
their
one.
community behind.
Question. Is in any of this training, does any of this training consist of manufacturing like CNC training or anything like that?
This doesn't have CNC in it,
No.
no, but I know that the high school is looking at going into manufacturing it and
Because
doing,
the CNC
something.
is like the huge
Yeah.
arm.
I know,
thing.
I know.
Shoemaker's a dying breed.
That's that's a whole separate.
That's
board.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
something that
Right,
we encourage.
that's right, and that, don't worry, I've mentioned it a few times.
Maybe 3 or 4 more might know.
Yeah, well, you know, manufacturing is looking to get kids into it. Most
Yeah.
people don't understand. First of all, they don't even understand that you don't get oil sprayed all over you when you work in manufacturing.
No.
It doesn't, it's not like that. You know,
My husband's a toolmaker. He
we,
doesn't smell like a grease ball. so-
Right.
Yeah.
right, but you know, people don't know that and parents don't always want to hear that their kid is interested in that. So if their kid comes home with good knowledge about this being a well-paying job and I'm in a clean,
Good, honest
exciting
living, that's all
environment,
that's the matter.
that's a
Good, honest
different
living.
conversation than, gee, I don't know if your kid's gonna get into Yale, you know.
We do
Believe me,
tours
those are
from
very
adult
different.
ed to some of the factories. And
Nice.
they're always amazed at how clean the factories are.
Right,
And I work through the job center in Waterbury, so,
Right.
and they do a lot of referrals too with me.
So yeah, the alternative though would be the tech schools, which are actually, some schools don't even teach the manufacturing. I think it's in
Well,
different schools now.
I just did
It's
that
best to
with,
keep the kids in-house.
yeah, I just did that with the renovation project that I completed at Japag before I retired. And just to put one CNC machine in the school was over $30,000.
Yeah, they're expensive.
And there's
machines.
very few teachers out there that are actually connected to that career. So it needs to be a partnership.
CNC either.
So
Right,
maybe
no,
they
no,
should
it's
go
not, it's your
partner
basic,
with, like
right.
ITW, they're right up in
Right.
the industrial.
so what you need is a partnership with the industry itself.
Mm.
Because, you know, the days of having a shop teacher that understood cars and construction
Oh,
and
yeah.
those days are over.
Yeah,
You don't find
your car there during the summer and having.
Chuck's no longer there.
No,
Exactly, and George, and and Harry, I mean, it's a different era, having tried to hire some of these, positions, I can tell you. Oh, good Lord.
Oh, I don't.
That's pretty
Yes.
Yeah. Serious, like the driving, yeah, Jim Vaness, yeah.
Okay,
Very best.
we'll just summarize by saying we're in favor of this and we will work with the Board of Ed to help get it done.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, litter light dumping. I'm not gonna spend much time on this tonight, except to say that, we are, attempting to take this to a higher level. And we do have, almost every month, I'll say every 6 weeks, litter blight dumping enforcement meeting where every town office attends and we take up a series of issues. And I'll just say in today's world, with mental health problems and all types of nuances, there's a lot going on. And, we're working as a team to do better in all areas. So I'm gonna, really not talk about it too much tonight, but I'm gonna keep it on the agenda because it's a priority for the town. And to the extent we need some teeth from this board, to just keep getting more and more aggressive on all of these issues. And, it's good, I think it's good if people wanna come to the meetings because, when we get to the finance board level and we talk about this, it's good to know what's going on and, what it's like out there in the world. And, there's a lot of problems and a lot of people need help and we can't help them all. Some we can help, but sometimes we have to be extremely tough and sometimes we have to show some compassion, but every case is different and, we're really gonna do all we can to improve our litter blight dumping zoning enforcement and put more teeth into it at every step. Any questions about that? So we meet, anyone who wants to come, do we have, is the next meeting set up yet?
Didn't give a date for it yet.
We'll,
We just did the other one the other
we'll
day.
send an invitation.
Mhm.
It's a daytime meeting, usually around 11 in the morning. But I think it would be good for people to see how many moving parts there are. And how all the offices interplay with each other. Okay, sidewalk improvements. Again, this is something we're continuing with. I don't think too much happened in the last month, but I will say this, if we are successful in our CIF grant and we can make progress, on the Nettleton neighborhood and Scott Street, that'll be a major jumpstart to our sidewalk program. So as we've always said, we're gonna apply for grants. So here we go. So we're applying for money for those neighborhoods and, if it works, it'll be a major jumpstart to the program. We're proceeding with our plan for the spring. And when we get to budget season, we'll talk about how we will be advancing this into the future. Any questions on sidewalks?
I do have one quick one.
Yeah.
I know when Eversource or other groups do work in town on our roads, we get a reimbursement, Jim, that we could then apply towards other costs. What about when they knock out a chunk of sidewalk to move their poles? Because we have a couple spots in town where they've done that recently, where still there's no new sidewalk in that place. Is that gonna be included in that check? Is that something we should include in our repair plans? as a town and then use that money for it? Or should Eversource have fixed that when they knocked out the concrete to move their pole?
They definitely should fix it. We generally don't take money for areas that we're not proposing to do a sidewalk job.
Okay.
You know, like Rubber Avenue, they did a lot of knocking sidewalks out there. We took money because we're gonna be pulling the sidewalks out anyway. But yeah, repairing sidewalks where they switch poles is
That's on
a
them.
problem. It's on them and it's a problem they have. They'll switch the poles, they'll even pull the old pole out and just leave a pile of dirt. And it takes us a while to get them to come back. But if there are ones that you're particularly interested, let us know.
I will send you a message on that, right, particular, right, thanks.
All right, facade improvement program. Ned? Anything new on this?
No, so good evening. I sent around the, last meeting, I sent around the draft. One of where the essence of the program is of adopting these guidelines is to encourage investment in the rehab of commercial properties, and restoring historic character of the properties. We did remove the internal improvements as was recommended at the last meeting. So you'll see that that's no longer in within the description of eligible improvements. The essence of the program is that it comes from the TIP funds in terms of the financing. The project would have to be approved by the Board of Mayor and Burgess's financing. We would grant a low interest loan for a period up to 5 years.
Are we ready to cite it or needs one more read?
I would say one more time. I'll tell you why I'm working on this, the financing part, because I'm talking to some of the other towns about how it's actually in play, because we haven't yet adopted ours, but other communities have.
All right, so let's put it in final form, bring it to the next meeting for a vote.
Very good, thank you.
13.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses confirm the appointment of the Assistant Town Clerk and Assistant Registrar of Vital Statistics, Alyssa Levesque, 96 Village Circle, term to run from January 2nd, 2024 to January 5th, 2026.
Second the motion?
All right, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses confirm the appointment of the Assistant Registrar of Vital Statistics, Kayla Rios, 145 Brownville Road, term to run from January 2nd, 2024 to January 5th, 2026.
Second the motion?
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses confirm the appointments of the following sub-registrars of Vital Statistics, term to run concurrently with the Town Clerk and Registrar of Vital Statistics, January 2nd, 2024 to January 5th, 2026, as directed by law, as if read.
Julie?
Second the motion? I don't know if he was reading the names.
Oh, no, okay.
Yeah, that's if read, you don't.
There you go.
All right, any questions or discussion on item 15? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the following resolution for the Community Investment Fund Round 4 application as if read.
Second the motion?
Okay, so is Dan here? Oh, so, Danielle, this is just, we have, in essence, two matters to approve so that we can formally submit our application for the 8 million for CIF that we discussed earlier. Is that right?
Yeah, so the first is just to approve the application and approve the submission of the application. And the second is to approve the match component. So we're requesting $400,000 matching component. The match will come from TIP funds.
So if they give us 8 million, we'll pay up 400.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, so, All right, so the first one requires a roll call vote. So, well, first of all, does anyone have any questions or anyone want to discuss the application?
We talked about these.
Okay,
I did a great job.
Mhm.
all right, I'll call the roll. Mayor, yes. Deputy mayor,
Yes.
former deputy mayor. Wayne,
Yes.
Dorothy,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
former mayor,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
got everyone? All right, 10-0.
The second deputy.
There you
So
go.
who's the third deputy?
Charlie.
Charlie.
No,
Gibbons.
Yes.
And Charlie's the fourth deputy.
I don't like that.
So if there's some major disaster, you're it.
There it is. There it is.
So,
Like to sign
Oh,
up?
this,
Works for me.
all right,
17.
17.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the following DECD resolution for the Community Investment Fund Round 4 application as it read.
Second motion?
All right, again, it's really the same thing. Any questions or discussion? All right, Mayor, affirmative. Rocky,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Dorothy,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Charlie.
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Julie.
Yes.
All right, once again, Nancy. 10-0.
It's another shout out. Good job.
Beautiful thing.
Hold on with that.
Even you're plugging a lot.
Bob, that's how you complain about it.
Well, Rocky's soft.
Even when Bob got hit with the hammer.
Almost knocked my denture out.
All right, Danielle, they both passed unanimously. All right, so we will now go. All right, so can you hand those out?
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so this is remember the gentleman asked a question about our other SIP application. So this is the one that we've already received for the $3 million for the Uniroyal project. And, I'll just explain it. And there's a lot of standard legal, information here, but essentially what this does is that, it requires us to use the 3 million for this project to do our match and to agree that we will use the property only for the uses that, we've told on, which are listed on page 13, paragraph 2.27, which is pretty broad, but it's for a fulfillment center, lumber, recycling, warehousing, logistics, intermodal, or other light industrial or commercial use. So we can't use it for residential anyway. So what we're really saying is that we're gonna use the money, we're gonna spend it on this project for a period of 10 years. We're not gonna sell anything unless, it is along the lines of what I just described, that it will be, they're gonna hold back 10% of their money as retainage. And they're gonna have a $3 million mortgage on the property, which gets released as we sell the properties. And as long as we use the money, as we're supposed to, you know, we don't pay anything back. We would only have to pay it back if we didn't do what we said we're going to do.
The Port of Naugatuck across the street.
Yes, that's intermodal.
Okay.
So that's what we mean by intermodal. So yes,
It's described in the description of the uses that are allowed.
yeah. So,
So is this something we have to budget $300,000 for?
no, we're using TIF.
Oh, boy, it's a lot different.
Yeah. So what we're saying is that we already applied for the money. We got the money. We're gonna spend the money the way they want us to. And this agreement, in essence, says we're gonna spend the money, in the way we need to in order to dot the i's and cross the t's for the grant. You wanna add anything to that, Danielle?
No, you did a great job.
And it looks like it allows for some minor changes, just no substantial changes.
And the assistance agreement,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think, nothing substantial.
I mean, if something different came up, we could ask them.
Yeah,
do
so the
that.
only time that you need to go back to the state is if this project scope of work or budget changes by 20%. Then we go back to the state and they have to approve it.
Right, so all we're really doing is taking the money and saying we'll follow their rules. All right, any questions? So, what did the motion say? Just extension.
Just section five. So you gotta make a motion.
So I'll entertain a motion that I be authorized to sign the assistance agreement between the State of Connecticut, DECD, and the Borough of Naugatuck.
So move.
I second. Look at it.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to execute an amendment to the lease agreement with the Bank of America for the use of the drive-through window and ATM at 275 Church Street, as recommended by Borough Attorney Edward Fitzpatrick.
The motion?
We have a motion and a second. Proceed.
Thank you. So, this lease agreement deals with the license use agreement, which actually is an amendment to the pre-existing lease agreement, which goes back to 1975. So what we've done essentially is extend the agreement for a period of 3 years. This agreement, provide for a 3-year term up through August 31, 2026. The borough may extend the term for additional 3 years. The current rent is $1,666.67, equates to $20,000 a year. And it relates to the lease of the area, which is the ATM in the drive-through, okay? So that's what the purpose of the first motion is, Mr. Mayor, if I may. Second motion deals with the electricity, so maybe I'll explain them both together. The second motion deals with the an amendment to the lease agreement with regard to the electricity. It was difficult and very expensive to separate the electricity from the building to the ATM machine. It wasn't really practical to do that. So Bank of America is going to pay us $300 a year, $300 a month for the electricity, reimburse us. We're paying the electricity. Mr. Stewart did a calculation for me and he came up with $206 a month was his estimate. So they're gonna pay us $300 a month for the first 3 years, and if there is an extension of 3 years, the next 3 years would be at $325. Again, we're in charge of electricity, we pay it, they reimburse us. So that's the second agreement. That one just came in about 5 days ago, actually 6 days ago. The other one we've had for a while, but while we were finalizing this one, we started negotiating this one. So I decided it'd be best to put them both on the agenda at the same time, deal them together.
Ned, what's the provision in there if the property is sold?
Well, the lease would run with the land, so, but the mayor and I
That's why it's
discussed it.
3 years.
It's only a 3-year term, so we discussed what was the right term for this that would sort of blend in with the borough's plan for its downtown redevelopment.
So our plan is to potentially keep that building for at least 3 years?
Our plan,
We
we'll
can,
discuss in executive session.
Oh, okay.
tonight.
Sorry, I'm just gonna not talk anymore tonight.
no, well, I'm not gonna say anymore. It speaks for itself, but it is an agreement which allows them to stay in the premises for that period of time, so. For the
Okay.
3 years, so
Got it. Picking up.
after that, it's our decision. So that's the essence of the two agreements. Any questions anybody has, I'll be happy to.
All right, so which one? There are
The
two
first one
separate
is the,
motions, right?
What we got 19?
We have. Any questions on item 19? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess authorize Mayor Hess to execute a letter of agreement and amendment to the lease agreement with Bank of America for the use of the drive-through window and ATM at 275 Church Street, and that the Borough of Naugatuck will provide electricity to the Bank of America ATM premises as recommended by Borough Attorney Edward Fitzpatrick.
Second motion.
All right, any questions? So this is the $300 a month payment.
Correct.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess authorize Controller Allison W. Bruce to refund the following tax refunds approved by tax collector James Goggin as read.
Second motion.
Question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, public comment. In the room or on Zoom, is there anyone who would like to make a public comment? First call. Second call. Last call. Hearing none. We will proceed to what, Burgess comments?
Mayor Burgess.
All right. So, Jim. Do it.
This one?
Yes.
Well, come here, Al.
I get scared when you guys come here.
Make sure you're not sitting on a drop cloth, that's all. You'll be okay. Tossing out?
Yeah, yeah. It's the ring.
You gotta tell me what it is.
Something like that.
Alcoholic or?
No. Not that bad.
Some liquid beverage of some form.
Yeah, something I'm gonna like.
Whatever the machine's
Don't
got.
fuck it up.
Oh, now the pressure's on.
And that's on the record.
That's it.
All right,
That's gonna change.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
so. So Megan, why don't you go first?
I have nothing, Mayor.
Okay, Dorothy.
Not much to say today.
All right. Lorraine.
I just want to remind the Burgess and anyone else here that there's still time to get the tickets to Franklin Johnson's breakfast, which is on the 21st, and Kevin McSherry is being honored.
Oh, yeah, we did that. We did that.
And there's a few people there that have received the honor before, not including Charlie.
Not limited to.
No,
Not limited, well, you know, I never want to be a member of a club that would have me as it.
I said it that way purposely, inch by inch. That's all.
Wow.
Just like to thank the mayor and, everybody involved with the, downtown, pre-ceremony. Another fantastic one, that's always put on by the town and all the workers. And also, kudos to a fantastic and great season by the, Naughty Greyhounds.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was exciting. Rocky,
Very little, but tomorrow at 10:30, the senior center is having its holiday gathering. If you can stop in and say hello, I'm sure they would appreciate it. The only other thing is, it was very interesting at the blight meeting. And, hopefully now there's gonna be a little teeth in this, so the email that I sent out in June about cameras that got ignored, I can now beat people up about it and get it done.
well, I'm gonna get it done.
Okay,
You and I are gonna get it.
we're gonna get it done.
We're finding.
Hey, Thursday.
Thursday,
So,
what's today?
Tuesday.
Thursday. I'm a senior, so forgive me.
Let's get them on.
Julie,
Nothing other than I'm excited about all these projects and I hope to see it in my lifetime.
are you gonna see it?
Well, you don't know.
Oh,
How you feeling there, Julie?
Yeah.
I'm gonna see it.
Yeah.
There you
You're
go.
gonna see it, I'm gonna see it.
There you go.
Came up in my.
Mike.
Yes, for many years, the Christmas tree on the, in the gazebo has been decorated in red, white, and blue in honor of our servicemen. And I can appreciate the fact that we've made it pink in honor of Camilla for that one season. But now that it's white, I would like to suggest, and I would really strongly, ask that we turn it to red, white, blue again. For the same honor.
Jeremy.
The guys and lights.
Park Department, but I do believe they did have a tree. They did.
There is
red, white,
one.
tree.
There is one.
Yeah, there is one, red, white, and blue one out there.
I know it's on the green, but I'm talking about the one that's on the gazebo. The one
Yeah.
that's on the gazebo was a special one
Right,
Yeah,
for our service people.
right.
I remember some of that.
Wow, it's fast.
Speedy delivery.
That's where I got it.
Yeah.
There's a point where the mayor goes, I didn't want that.
Jim,
They're got a Hershey bar.
You don't get Jay.
You got all the money back. That's good. That's a deal.
All right, Charlie.
Just one thing, well, first echo congratulations to our wonderful, young people on our football team. Fantastic season. They've represented our town exceptionally well, not just in their athleticism, but their sportsmanship, all around. And, they represent our community well by being model students and the kind of kids that the younger kids I teach look up to. And it's a really good thing to see them do as well as they did. And congratulations to everyone involved with the downtown Christmas tree lighting. That was fantastic. That was a lot of fun to watch, from behind my tuba, playing in the Congregational Church, but it was wonderful to see. I do have one concern I want to ask about. When I was doing one of my walks around Union City, as I was heading towards Linden, where the exit 27 ramp is, and that section, which is quite nice since we redid North Main, the area that's owned by the state is disgusting. There are 2 transformers there. It is overgrown to the point where the weeds had overgrown to the sidewalks. It's just an eyesore, and considering all the work and money and effort that's been put in there, is there any way we could light a fire in the state to just clean up their property?
I think we should make a complaint to our committee.
Yeah. Ed Carter's the flight officer, maybe we could
So
send one up.
you see, what you're saying is what I'm saying, that you know, there's a lot of little things here and there around town. And, you should start dealing with them more efficiently, so I would suggest you write a letter to the Blight Committee. And we'll take on the state of Connecticut.
Cause yeah, both our entry points in Union City are ugly. Because of the state,
Yeah.
not because the business owners, not because the landowners that are private properties now, but because the state has left it just a total mess. They could probably fix it.
Say it
with-
again, there's 2 areas. I'm talking about.
At the bottom of exit 27, as you enter Linden Park, major entry point to one of the places we're putting so much time and energy into, and North Main Street, and then exit 28. As you come in near where the Cumberland Farms and where the new senior housing is going in. That area directly off of the exit, as you're coming from the north, is ugly. And it's not well maintained, it's state
Downtown
property.
Union City.
The capital of Naugatuck deserves better, Bob.
There was a lot of docking those weeds and stuff when I was on my
Yeah.
runs, so,
It does make it an unwalkable area. at times.
yes, big time.
No. Thank you, that'd be it for me.
Okay,
Congratulations, Grandma.
Thank you. Jordan Joy Walker was born on the 16th. She was born 7'9". She's already 8 pounds, due to a lot of Grammy love going on. It was awesome. It was,
That's right.
yes, she was very impressed, by the way. They were.
Little burp here, little burp
Yeah,
there.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I discovered the reason why you have babies when you're young. Man, was I tired. But no, it was wonderful. And I'm blessed to be able to be there for 3 weeks and help our daughter and her husband and just get things going. I have a son-in-law that actually likes it when I stay there. How lucky am I?
Look at that, huh?
How lucky am I? I'm all set. Thank you.
Can I just add one more thing? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just have one more request. Can we take this broken chair and have it thrown in the garbage, please?
well, I mean, I agree with you.
For chairs, can I have one like everyone else's?
It's right here.
Those chairs are better. than when you-
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
you have a better chair.
I do?
Yeah.
All right, never mind, I take back my comment.
Yeah. You're gonna want to do
Some
that.
of them are like.
That's a genius castaway.
Sure. If I were a middle school kid, I would have gone ass over tea kettle by now.
No, just one more thing. I forgot, on Thursday from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Bank of America building, there's gonna be pet photos with Santa. It's always very well attended, so bring your dog, your gerbil, or your kangaroo, and for $5 you can get a pet photo with Santa.
And it's being set up right now.
We do it every year.
I mean, it's being, the trees and all the decorations.
Did they know the numbers when they started
Yeah.
the trees? Did they post the numbers somewhere? Cause I guess I didn't know.
Everybody picked that
What's
up.
next?
I guess I didn't know.
Robbie was a big
All
winner.
right,
Yes, he
I
did.
didn't, and there I wanted
we're going to, we're gonna take a short recess. Well, let's take a motion, go into executive session. We'll take a short recess, we'll come back, and we will be, taking up dispatch in executive session. And I don't think we have to invite anyone in.
Motion to recess to executive session at 8:38 for discussion on the following. Real estate parcels A, B, C, Y, and Z, Naugatuck Industrial Park, Section 3, Bank of America microbrewery.
Oh, yeah, we'll
Do the
do,
addendum first?
yeah,
I withdraw the what I said.
withdraw what you said so far, we'll do the addendum.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess add to the agenda discussion, possible action regarding Burgess liaison appointments.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So. I don't have the requests, so why don't we, go around and we do?
Yeah, they're here.
It's on the slab.
No less than we are.
Yeah, you say you. I'll see you. He's working on it, you know, I get it, I think he's
All right, so let's say this, we don't, everyone can have whatever they want, but we do have some commissions, where no one has volunteered. So, and we have quite a few commissions that no one has volunteered for. So,
I usually take some of those.
Yeah, do you want us to tell you what, because I didn't send in my email.
I didn't
So
have the email.
we might be filling a couple that are empty now.
so I mean, everyone wants to go to the police commission,
God bless you.
so.
Go for it.
I've been on that one.
So, and that's fine, it's just,
Can't have four, can you?
Sure.
Can't have four Burgesses,
Or you
Same room.
go, says you can,
all right?
can't have five.
Can't have five.
right,
That one.
It becomes a quorum.
right.
Four Burgesses and the mayor.
Yeah.
That's, four Burgesses and the mayor would be a problem, that's what I'm thinking.
Is it an actual meeting for us though?
I don't know.
Well,
How do you
well,
find
It's
it?
it's not a chance
If
meeting.
you're in the room,
If you're planning on going, it's not a chance meeting. If you happen to all be at a restaurant at the same time, that's a chance meeting. I don't think we're invited though in the heading, are we?
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
At least on all like the emails that come out, it says on the bottom, like from Colin, it says Burgess, Megan Smith, Burgess, Rocky.
It says liaison, Burgess liaison.
Correct.
liaison.
Look, I had no idea which committees had openings and which didn't, with the exception of the Board of Ed where I feel I have expertise to
You're
lend
right.
to it.
you're
The
right.
other ones, the other ones were like, oh, that's interesting, you know, I'm a golfer, supposed to be
Well,
my
you
golf
are-
banquet tonight.
You and Dorothy are on the board of it.
Mhm.
Um,
I'll do anything I'm needed.
Julie's not only because she's an employee.
Mhm.
I know.
Right.
There's a conservation commission, there's daycare commission, elderly commission,
I think.
fair rent commission,
Conservation
You're on
committee.
the elderly.
Yeah.
finance board, fire commission, golf commission, housing authority,
Maybe send out the email again, though.
HRD.
I think, let's do this. Let me take what we have. And we don't have to do it tonight. Well, I'm gonna have Nancy send everyone a list of all the commissions.
I think she
And let's
Yeah, there is
see,
one that has a-
let's see if we can get more commissions covered
Yeah.
and,
Maybe she could star the ones where there's
then
no
when we get
Burgess
to the end,
liaison.
we'll jiggle it
Yeah,
around.
that's what
I know, I made it like, when I did it, I probably made it more complicated than Nancy just starring it, but I went on like the borough website and I looked at like, because it lists and I.
I
looked
think
at what
there's a
their-
schedule out there that has
what each
dates
one
and
was.
times.
It took time.
Yeah, gotcha.
A starred list would be.
There is one out there.
Easy.
Yeah.
On the site.
That was like trying to protect it. Okay, this is on this one.
Yeah.
I just found it, but I was already on.
Look right now, what's on the website?
See, I just downloaded it from last time and then updated everything with the dates.
Cause I could do daytime, yeah.
I know Janet's just got.
That was fast. You did 5 factor authentication?
Commissions.
Yeah.
Yeah, send it to Secretary of State's office.
Yeah, and then I just went to like
Alright.
boards and commissions.
So, we'll stop here. When we go down. We have who?
Charlie.
Yes,
Well,
Professor.
So that's what I did. I went down each one and I.
Oh, okay.
Some of them had the.
There is a schedule.
Yeah.
There is a schedule out there.
All of them.
There's also just a list
Yeah,
of
he
like
just
boards and
showed.
commissions.
No, actual calendar
Like if you go,
that has all the commissions listed and all the
Right
dates and times they need.
and that'll show you just all the ones that exist.
I forgot I did that.
alright, so,
Did you remember you forgot?
I just did.
Okay. Don't forget that you remembered it.
I will not.
So you-
I have made it. So can we add?
Does anybody wanna go in
Document
any-
out, I told you which ones, or?
Yeah, right.
We should all wait at the next meeting, is the,
I would ask everyone to, let's just look, So arts, I don't think we need a liaison, but we're working with them.
I'll stay on as liaison
Yeah,
for the Arts
Bradley's
Commission if
already-
you, there's no one else, so.
Okay, what's the next, aquifer protection, we don't need anyone. Go ahead. Well, no, we have that commission for the elderly.
I'm on that.
Okay, so Megan,
I could on that one too.
That's a once a year meeting.
hold on.
Megan's on
Okay,
that
you
one.
are, okay, I see, all right. All right, Matt, keep going.
was actually still.
What's that for the elderly?
Fair rent.
We don't need anyone for that. Finance,
I'm on it.
okay. Fire commission, we have one. Golf, we could use one.
Can do that.
Kim,
I'll do that.
all right, Kim will be on golf. Housing authority, we should have someone there.
You're gonna need someone.
Yeah, we don't
That
have
was
anyone.
Jan.
That's what they need,
That was
right?
Jan.
So probably like a 5
That's the
o'clock.
daytime
That's
one.
the daytime when I
I
can't make
can
the
do,
meeting, so.
I'll do that.
All right, Julie will be on housing authority.
Okay.
Inland wetlands, we could use one.
When do they meet?
Wetlands is on,
First Monday of the month?
No,
No.
it's a Wednesday, I think.
Yeah.
First Wednesday
first
of each
Wednesday,
month.
6:30 here.
I can take you in the wetlands.
Okay. Yeah, cause that was a Jan also.
Bob's in HR.
I'm in the herd.
You're in the herd?
All right. What is that, Naugatuck, no,
Nenac,
park, we have park, right?
yeah.
Yep, I have a
Planning,
card.
we need someone on planning,
Me,
Planning, you have Dorothy, yep.
I'm on planning.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. Next,
You got police, social service.
I wanna do that one.
okay,
Did we go past long-term school facility planning committee?
well, that's, we got a lot of people on that.
Okay.
Haven't done it in eons.
We're good.
Should I add that,
WPC?
should I email that to Nancy to add them, or is she still on?
Yeah, I think,
She's on.
Here, okay.
I don't know if she's listening or not, but everyone, as we go through the list and we take on new assignments, email Nancy.
Okay,
WPCA, we should have.
I'm gonna step down from that, cause that meets Thursday nights, it's always a problem with being scouts, so we will need someone on that one. It's very interesting stuff, you know, you got engineering and.
Anyone want WPCA?
Yeah, if they vote me, then I can try making meetings I can make
That means there's.
Put me on that.
Thursday nights, it's a scout, I can't.
All right, Fran will be on WPCA. ZBA,
Zoning. Who's on day one zoning now?
we should have zoning, we should definitely have.
Zoning, I'm on that anyway, I'll stay on
You
that.
already, okay.
Stay on that.
All right, we have most things covered.
ZBA or zoning are two different things.
ZBA is zoning. No, I'm saying I'm on zoning.
Yeah.
But she would have care findings.
Oh.
I thought you were- It exists, it does, daycare committee's one.
Okay, which one?
Pete, I know you have a lot of people on long-term school facility planning, but I still would like to get involved in that.
You're right.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Charlie said there's one for day number.
Daycare too, I was on the
There's
daycare
one.
one, daycare, deals with the Nautic daycare board, we
You're
have
right.
a lead, I was on that. She would be willing to take over.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone,
These are ones that I.
everyone can email Nancy
Okay.
Both send it in.
these assignments, and then we'll confirm them next month.
Okay. It's sometimes up there.
All right, so now we'll go into executive session, then we'll take a break.
I'm all done with veterans.
Motion to recess to executive session at 8:46.
Second.
Discussion on the following. Real estate, parcel A, B, C, Y, and Z, Notice Industrial Park, Section 3, Bank of America, Micro acquisition of land for downtown parking, 30 Church Street, tax incremental financing district, Church Street, Maple Street, Peter Paul Hershey property, financing of lot number 3 in the industrial park of Randall Road, parcel 0748952, sale of remnant parcel C, former Union Royal, Langston site, 238 Water Street, Laurel Park landfill solar project, Amazon project, collective bargaining, chapter 89 union, Police Dispatchers Union and pending litigation.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second.
You go by the end of that.
Second motion, second time.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we will reconvene the meeting at 10:02. And we're coming out of executive session under item 25. I will entertain a motion that I be authorized to conclude the sale of lot 3 in the industrial park, the old industrial park, Great Hill Road, parcel 0748952, as discussed in executive session, including the financing of the transaction.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a second from Bob Neff. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'll also entertain a motion that I be authorized to sell a sliver remnant parcel of land consisting of 1,985 square feet as discussed in executive session to, well,
They were on, to go.
no,
The elders?
no.
Oh, no, that's the other one. Oh,
To Celestino Robello,
no, he's,
Celestino Robello. Motion,
Rock.
Rocky.
oh, so moved.
Second.
I don't know where I went, but I'm back
We
now.
have a motion and a second.
lost on the way home.
Don't mess up the last motion.
All right, any questions or discussion? Again, it's this little sliver
Little
of
slice, yeah.
land.
The cornhole for it.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Get it,
wait for it, now.
I further, will entertain a motion to authorize me to enter into a collective bargaining agreement with, United Public Service Employees Union, Local 424, Unit 15B, the Naugatuck Police 911 dispatchers for a 4-year term from July 1, 2022 through June 30, 2026, as discussed in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so we have, motion by Rocky, a second by Bob. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 26.
Motion to adjourn at 10:06 PM.
I second the motion.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.